Welcome to the Assistant Professor's Educational Video Series. This video is about the greenhouse effect. Lesson 1 defines and illustrates the greenhouse effect. Lesson 2 examines greenhouse gases. Lesson 3 explores the influence of civilization on greenhouse gases. And Lesson 4 presents choices and consequences of acting to slow the increase of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. The sun is a huge furnace, burning hydrogen fuel and giving off energy in the forms of light and heat. We see and feel this energy as sunlight. A greenhouse is a type of building with a transparent roof and transparent walls. Sunlight streams into the greenhouse and falls on the inside surfaces, the floor, the pots, and the plants. These objects absorb the sun's energy. Like a sponge that can only absorb so much water, the surfaces can absorb only so much energy. Then, these surfaces begin to give off or radiate heat. However, the walls and roof, which allow sunlight to enter, do not so easily allow the heat to escape. As a result, the temperature rises inside the greenhouse. The greenhouse effect is the process of absorbing and radiating heat which regulates the temperature. In many ways, the Earth and its atmosphere behave like a greenhouse. The atmosphere is a sea of invisible air which surrounds our Earth. Like the glass panes of a greenhouse, the atmosphere allows most of the sun's energy to enter. Much of this energy is absorbed by the surface of the Earth, that is, the water and the land. As the surface gets warmer, it begins to radiate heat. Some of this heat returns to space, and some is contained by our atmosphere. A balance exists between the sun's energy going into Earth's atmosphere and the energy leaving the atmosphere. It is this greenhouse effect that regulates this balance and keeps the average temperature on Earth a cool, pleasant 15 degrees Celsius. If we remove that part of our atmosphere responsible for the greenhouse effect, the average temperature on Earth would plunge to 20 degrees below 0 Celsius. Plants, insects, animals, and people could not survive in such a harsh environment. Let's review. The greenhouse effect is the process of absorbing and radiating heat. This process regulates the Earth's temperature. Without the greenhouse effect, the Earth would become a frozen wasteland. How can the Earth's atmosphere act like the glass panes in a greenhouse? The atmosphere is a mixture of many different gases. This is a molecule of nitrogen gas. This is the symbol for a molecule of nitrogen. Nitrogen gas makes up 78% of our atmosphere. This is a molecule of oxygen gas. This is the symbol for oxygen gas. Oxygen gas makes up 21% of our atmosphere. Nitrogen and oxygen gases form 99% of our atmosphere, but neither of these contribute to the greenhouse effect. Less than 1% of the gases in our atmosphere contribute to the greenhouse effect. These are called greenhouse gases. There are many greenhouse gases in our atmosphere, but 3 of them have the most impact. Water is the most important of all the greenhouse gases. This is the symbol for a molecule of water. We see water in the atmosphere as clouds. Carbon dioxide is another important greenhouse gas, and this is the symbol for a molecule of carbon dioxide. The third important greenhouse gas is methane. And here's the symbol for a molecule of methane. How do greenhouse gases help warm the Earth? The answer is found in the molecules. The molecules of our atmosphere act like the panes of glass in a greenhouse. The rays of visible sunlight pass through the gas molecules on their way to Earth. The visible light warms the Earth. Then the Earth begins to radiate heat towards space in the form of infrared radiation. This radiation passes through the oxygen and nitrogen molecules without any effect. However, when the radiation comes in contact with a greenhouse gas, such as this carbon dioxide molecule, the radiation is absorbed. When the molecule absorbs a sufficient amount, it begins to emit infrared radiation. A portion of this is radiated back to Earth. A greenhouse gas is special because it has this ability to act like a tiny Earth, to absorb and radiate heat energy. All the greenhouse gas molecules have this special ability. There are trillions and trillions of greenhouse gas molecules in our atmosphere, all absorbing and radiating heat energy. It is this process that regulates the temperature of the Earth. Together, these tiny greenhouse gas molecules act like a thermostat. If we increase the number of greenhouse gas molecules, the temperature rises. If we decrease the number, the temperature falls. Let's review. Greenhouse gases are less than 1% of our atmosphere. A greenhouse gas efficiently absorbs and radiates heat energy. The three primary greenhouse gases are water, carbon dioxide, and methane. How has civilization affected the Earth's atmosphere? Long ago, the atmosphere of Earth was mostly carbon dioxide. Great seas and swamps covered parts of the Earth which are now dry land. Plant photosynthesis and microscopic sea creatures removed a great deal of carbon dioxide from the air. Some of the remains of these plants and tiny sea animals were transformed into coal, oil, and natural gas. These are called fossil fuels. When the Industrial Revolution began, people built factories. Energy from fossil fuels was used to power these factories, as well as trains and automobiles. Today, almost 90% of the energy used in the world comes from fossil fuels. So what does all this have to do with the greenhouse effect? Remember, fossil fuels are the altered remains of plants and animals which took carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. When we burn fossil fuels, we put carbon dioxide right back into the atmosphere. Burning fuels is not the only activity which causes an increase in the greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. All plants take carbon dioxide out of the air and give off oxygen. All over the world, trees and other plants are being cut down in great numbers for fuel and to clear land for agriculture. If we continue burning fossil fuels and cutting down trees at our current rates, the carbon dioxide content in the atmosphere will probably double late in the 21st century. The amount of methane in the atmosphere has increased due to human activities. These sources include agriculture, livestock, and the production and transportation of fossil fuels. Our industrial civilization is also responsible for putting large quantities of other greenhouse gases into the air. One of these gases is nitrous oxide. This gas is produced by burning coal and by chemical fertilizers as they decompose. Chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs, are man-made gases used in aerosol cans, refrigeration, air conditioning, and packing materials. Another important greenhouse gas is ozone. It is produced when automobile exhaust interacts with sunlight. Our atmosphere is very complex. It's influenced by the interaction of the land, the oceans, air currents, polar ice, volcanic activity, human industry, and many other factors. These factors make the future difficult to predict. Some scientists think the average temperature will rise about 3.5 degrees Celsius by the middle of the 21st century. Over the past 50 years, the average temperature has increased, about 1/2 degrees Celsius. Scientists are debating whether this increase is the result of human activities or natural causes. There have been many episodes in Earth's history when natural changes in the average temperature have occurred. During the last ice age, a mere 5-degree drop in the average temperature caused great sheets of ice to spread from the polar regions. Many scientists believe that the 21st century will be called the greenhouse century. If they're correct, we could see rapid and obvious warming in the first half of the 21st century that would normally take thousands of years. Many parts of the world could become warmer. People in northern areas might enjoy warmer, milder weather. Those in the south might suffer through very hot summers. Weather and rainfall patterns could change. Parts of Africa and the Middle East might become wetter and more hospitable. Breadbasket areas like the North American Midwest and parts of the former Soviet Union may become too dry to grow crops. The increasing heat might cause the oceans to expand and storms to be more severe. The sea level could go up half a foot. A slight rise in sea level would cause enormous property damage in coastal areas. The effects would not be confined to people. From studying the past, we know that large-scale climatic changes place great stress upon many forms of life. Some become extinct. Let's review. Human activities are increasing the levels of greenhouse gases. Some scientists believe the Earth's average temperature will increase. Other scientists disagree. How can we slow down the increase of greenhouse gases? We can burn natural gas instead of coal or oil. Of all the fossil fuels, natural gas contributes the least amount of carbon dioxide. We can build more fuel-efficient cars. We can convert power plants to wind, solar, or nuclear power. We can turn our thermostats down in winter and up in summer. We can plant trees and help poor countries preserve or replant trees in their tropical rainforests. However, there are consequences that make these actions controversial. For example, the U.S. has more coal reserves than oil or natural gas. Do we want to depend on foreign countries for our energy resources? Also, coal miners and many other people would lose their jobs. Converting to wind, solar, or nuclear power will cost hundreds of billions of dollars, and nuclear energy produces a different set of environmental problems. Some people believe we should wait to see if the Earth's temperature does rise. They point out that global warming is not yet a proven fact. Why spend billions of dollars on a problem that may not exist? However, we continue to pour millions of tons of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere every year. Some people say we should plan ahead, change our lifestyles, and pay the costs now. What do you think?
This has been a presentation of Allied Video Corporation. We produce a variety of video products for the classroom. For a complete list of these and other educational tapes, please call toll-free 1-800-926-5892.